Ladies and gentlemen, we love that you are joining us here and we hope that you could do us a favor. If you are liking our episodes, please share them. Tell us that you like them. Leave us a review and we will be eternally grateful.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Wizard and the Priestess. We have had a little bit of a break because it's been a little bit cold, but
Had
we are
nothing
back.
to do whatsoever with our editor being away.
No, it was
cold.
just cold. We were frozen, stuck frozen in
Yes.
time.
Much colder than Antarctica at the moment.
That is true. Although, have you noticed now that we're in wintertime, I've really noticed how we went through autumn, at least here, it was like grey skies and raining constantly. I don't know what it's like down in Sydney, but it's been grey skies and raining a lot. And then last month it's been more blue sky.
It's like the weather's changing.
Yeah, because it's winter.
Oh, is that what it is?
Well, yeah, it's cold, it's crisper and fresher, but we see a little bit more sunshine.
Mm.
You know something also that I noticed the other day? Well, I have this thing about autumn and I talk about everything dies in autumn, right? Because you got to let go and then you plant your seeds for the flourishing growth that comes in springtime.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just one cycle, right? Because there's cycles within a cycle. What I also noticed was the camellia that's growing in the garden was budding and now it is flourishing. So just this is the middle of winter, or not the middle, but the beginning of winter. And it is like flourishing, full bloom, beautiful white flowers all over it. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. And the wattle, native wattle in Australia, literally started blooming at the end of May, right as the season twisted, like right as that cold snap hit.
Maybe they identify as different plants.
Or maybe they're just on their own cycle. Talking about cycles, everyone is moving in their own cycles. That is a really weird position when you put your head back like that. Your face looks really different. Matt's head was like laying
that as a
back for a
compliment.
really
Thank you.
long period of time. Your nose was like a peak. Anyway, cycles upon cycles. No, like if you do that and screenshot your face, you'll know what I mean. Cycles within cycles. Okay. Is just that we're all cycling in our own cycle within the cycle of nature, within all those things, is sort of where I'm getting to. Dad joke?
Ooh. Well, I was telling jokes.
I still don't get last week's, by the way.
No, that's a given. I was talking to some people face to face and they were laughing. Yet when I was on Zoom, no one was really laughing. So I guess the people on Zoom don't find me remotely funny.
Oh, shit. All right.
Follow us more.
Okay. Moving right along. Where were you at today, Matt?
Well, a theme that we see with everyone, including ourselves from time to time, is think of everything you've got in life, right? All the material, all the non-material, etc. Most people think within themselves that's not enough. So how many people do you know that are actually happy with what they've got?
Yeah, could probably not name a person.
So it's human beings always wanting more. So why can't we just be happy with what we've got?
Do you want to tell me?
Well, I think it's multifactorial, but society always wants us to have more, go for more, chasing the fancy cars and the shiny toys and all that kind of stuff. But then that has a numerical value on it. There is no, numbers are infinite. So if you're going for that, then you're never going to be happy because then there's no real such number that you're going to be content with. If you say you want $1 million, then you have $1 million, then you're going to want 2 million, then 10, then 20. So that's just money. But then you get a new car Then as soon as you drive it home, that's already devalued. Then you want the next version straight away. You buy a new phone or a laptop. By the time you get home, that's kind of already last year's model already. So we continuously want that upgrade in life. And we want to do it with material things and shiny stuff. But the more we do that, we don't upgrade ourselves. So the more we want the upgrades of the shiny things, the less kind of attention we pay to ourselves. Then we put our identity into the car, the laptop, the phone, whatever. And then we start whinging about how empty our lives are. Think about it. I thought about this yesterday. Think of anyone in history that you've read in books, seen documentaries, etc. No one really in history had a hot shower pre-1950. Think of the food that we have available today, like the caloric amount available to us. How relatively easy our lives are. You know, not every person needs to farm or barter for food. All of these things. So life has never been objectively better, yet subjectively worse. Discuss.
Yeah, that's really spot on, I guess, in many ways. And I would say that the aspect of humans always wanting more, I can liken it to more so women always wanting more and men accommodating that need, as we will always need more in terms of procreation. We will always need more to feed our children because food will always be a necessity every day. It doesn't you don't all of a sudden have enough food ever.
But then from that perspective, is too much ever enough?
No. And that's something that is funny from that particular biological need. I think that might be our urge to always want more. So whilst I'm going to touch on that for a moment and say that we're always going to want more and we might never be able to fully satiate that palate, however, the part of it that we can work on is to help to evolve and improve, or what did you say? Update ourselves and not lose ourselves in the consistent updating that we want to do in the external. So when we update the internal drive within ourselves, we'll start to become more grateful and move with more gratitude. And that's why it's only the truest, the truest Buddhas and the truest gurus, or people, I know guru is a bit of a dud word right now. Don't call them a guru. It's just that they were a priest, or don't call them a priest. I don't know the word, but at least these people like Buddha or Jesus or these fully enlightened beings that have actually self-actualized, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones that have maybe broken out of the paradigm or broken out of the system that is always wanting more, because they finally found peace with where they were. And I think it's a lifelong work, and naturally we're inclined to do that work when we've suffered or we have, we've spoken about that heaps before about, we have to hit rock bottom before you start wanting to actually actively climbing back up. And whilst we keep getting a little bit, we won't jump, we won't go. And, yeah, I feel like innately we always want more because food isn't a forever thing. Like seasons are not a forever thing. Everything is forever changing. So there's always going to be a new thing or a new meal that needs to be prepared. Therefore, there's always going to be a need for more. However, I think that we can sort of play with this together in a way of improving the internal to improve the external, not the other way around.
So I'm hearing you say it really is Eve's fault.
I'm not pointing any fingers. I think that the importance.
Someone was, but we won't.
Well, right, but I think
that's
the
living in the
importance,
past, isn't it? Or
but I think even if we want to, like, um at what cost, or is it pointing fault, right? So can we say that it's Eve's fault? Sure. But Eve is the one that ensures that the life continues to life continues to life. She is the womb. She is the one that the creator of life. And so whilst it seems like she's at fault, without her, there would be no need for the man to provide or protect.
you missed the point of the joke, but that's absolutely.
I didn't miss it. I fully got it. I'm just like throwing it straight back at you. Nose peek. That's what you're doing. Anyone watching this video is going to see like exactly what I see. It's a strange position when your head flings right back, and I was just showing you so you don't need to wait to next episode to see what it looks like.
All right. Anyway, we digress.
Coming back.
Yes. So what was touching on Buddha and Jesus? What was Buddha's message to the world?
Find peace within self.
What was Jesus' message?
Wasn't it the same? Isn't it all the same?
Pretty much it's all the same. But Jesus, well, I can't say he worded it, because if you read the book Setting God Free by Sean O'Leary, I think his name is, he explains that how, Jesus didn't speak English. These these figures that we unconsciously bow to and pray to, they didn't speak the language that we speak today. They spoke a very different language, different vowels, different verbs, nouns, etc. And all of that means different things in different languages. So it's been translated no less than half a dozen times before it's hit our ears in today's world. And that was a different world back then as well. But when Jesus was saying, love thy neighbor as thyself, or love thy enemy as thyself, it's not saying love your neighbor because they're a really nice person and they deserve love. It's love thy neighbor because you are the neighbor. Christ consciousness is being one with everything. And even in the Bible, it says, split the wood, I'll be there. Open the book, I'll be there, which means he's everywhere. And he's not going to come back because he never left. It's the emergence of Christ consciousness within us all is when he comes back, quote unquote. But then think of especially the Western culture, where things are just shoved down your throat in the sense of buy the new clothes, the new jewelry, this new car, that new phone, etc. So we're being spellbound to consume stuff. But then if you go out, live in a tribe or live in the bush or a forest, you don't have time for any of that, because your entire day evolves around survival and connection with one another. Is that the same in Sweden?
It's very cold, so yes. Which part are you talking about is the same in Sweden? That the Bible's also been translated into Swedish, yes?
No, I mean how, let's say, consumerism is pushed down our throat here. Is it the same there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The thing in Sweden is that there's just one way.
I'm assuming it's not the Tao.
No, it's not your Tao, it's their Tao, or like whoever's pushing the limit. But I read this thing once about how if you're a fashion label, the best place to go and see how your fashion is going to go is in Sweden, because if you do well in Sweden, you have made it, because everyone buys the exact same things, because it's like quite a, there's an accepted, this is the accepted version of human is between these two levels. But like the variety comes up here and down here. but within that space is what's acceptable. So, you know, everyone would have a black puffer jacket for the wintertime. Everyone would have had, when I was there at least, had black skinny jeans. I know that was pretty common here in Australia too, but like every single girl, but between a certain age of, say, 10 to 25, had a pair of black skinny jeans.
So if
Whereas
they
you
did,
might
were they
find
kind of cast out, or
it's not even that you were cast out necessarily, but you were maybe not, I don't think I ever saw it. There's a group of girls hanging around. Every single one had a black puffer jacket on. Every single one had black boots, and every single one had black jeans on. Like it's just not there's no other. You don't do color necessarily. And I mean, there might be color now, like people wear a certain thing, but it's all, every person would have very similar. And naturally, I did the same thing. I naturally got myself a pair of black jeans. You know why? Because the fashion is only available in, you know, what I was saying this to some friends the other day, which is interesting because maybe I've just been mind washed already, but I was like, I really would like some corduroy flares. And we were just talking about it, high waist corduroy, and I'm like, I can see it, but I can't find them anywhere because it's not what's currently cool. And so you can't buy it, you can't find it because it doesn't exist yet. And then it'll become cool and it'll start to exist and you'll start to find it. Like right now, I think it's quite interesting. What's really in at the moment for women, young kids up to parents, is like straight leg pants with a pinstripe down the side, like black stripe down the side. So it's like maybe a colored pant and then, or like a tracksuit, but then there's a line down the side. It might not be pinstripe, more so like like the Adidas, those Adidas two lines down the side. Those sorts of pants, like Spice Girls pants. I don't know if you remember what they sort of wore. It's like that, but with more kind of natural dyed colors, like your more lighter turquoise or like terracotta color, or you don't really know
maybe
what I'm
the
saying.
stripe makes you go faster?
Maybe, but the point is that is available now. So I went into the shops yesterday to return some things just to return some things. And I looked around, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's available for my baby to get these like pink pants with a white stripe down the side. And I'm like, oh, like naturally, because I've seen it thousands and thousands of times. Oh, not thousands, but however many times I've seen these pants on people. And I'm like, oh yeah, I like them. Why do I like them? Because everyone's wearing them. So there is an aspect of
So
that
Aqua can now
happening.
fit in.
Yeah, she
God.
can. But I didn't get them. But I was just really conscious of that. I was conscious of the programming that we're all under. We're under this spell, but it's like neutral colors. Naturally, I would opt for neutral colors because they appeal to me more. And now, neutral colors, when I was trying to buy the kids like Luana clothes, it's not really available. Girls wore pink with butterflies and slogans like "You're cool" or "You're sassy." And then boys had clothes that were blue and green and had trucks on them and said "Roar like a dinosaur." Like it was just the polarity was that. But now in the big stores like Best and Less or H&M or I don't know what else, Target, it's quite neutral. You can get much less like typical boy girl stuff. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. If that's something that appeals to you and your children, then go for it. But personally, I'm like, oh, wow, there's so much more of the things that I like. And then I look around on places like Instagram and that's all you see. Kids, and it's sort of silly, I must admit. A child in beige or white is just like either anxiety driven by a parent trying to keep them clean or just a lot of work with the washing.
Mm.
But I'm saying all of this to suggest, like to bring it back around, that what we think we want is probably just a figment of someone else's imagination that is somehow had enough push and enough power to make it what we want. So then when you speak of Jesus and how he is, you know, that what Christ oneness, did you say?
Yeah, Christ consciousness is essentially
Christ consciousness.
oneness.
Yeah. And it's like, I would say that the people that I know that are closest to the church are the ones that are influencing all the people around us with their fashion styles. Like they are the ones with all the funkiest clothes.
I haven't noticed that.
Maybe not your dad.
God. He wouldn't be welcome in Sweden, though, based off his fashion choices.
But I would
I'm
say that
borderline at
growing
best.
up, the guys that like the people that I knew that were in Hillsong Church always had the coolest clothes and the most expensive. The things that you really I mean, I couldn't afford when I was younger.
Well, the church is the most profitable business in the planet by light years. So that's a story for another day. Let me tell you a quote by Dale Carnegie, who was an American writer. He says, "Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get."
That's pretty sweet.
So success is getting what you want. So in other words, it's working hard to get something or praying to get whatever your mode of desire is. But then when you get it, what's that saying about when the dog catches the car or something?
The dog catches the car?
Dog chases the car. It's like a dog chasing a car because dogs will just chase for something to chase. But then when they get the car, they don't know what to do with it because it's a dog. But that's the point, right? So we have this desire, and it's usually material of some sort, and financial is included with the material. We have this thought, but then we say, well, success is earning X amount of dollars. Success is having these clothes. Success is having the big house. And I've treated countless patients who come to me, their egos are massively inflated. They've got the big house. They've got on paper, they've got the life they wanted. But because they've got to work so hard to get it, they're tired and exhausted and sick all the time. And so to them, that means success. But does success mean happiness?
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting because it feels like I would say that person isn't successful. Like they didn't achieve what they were setting out to because essentially
that comes back to personal values, right?
True, but I think at the beginning when they thought they were going to be successful in the way that they deemed to be successful, they thought the happiness would follow. I don't think anyone set out being like, I'm just going to be a rich asshole.
Yeah, can't wait to be tired.
Can't wait to be so tired that I'm like worked into the ground and like my children get to enjoy the riches. I mean, maybe that could possibly be it. That like I have a friend that I know who her father is quite a wealthy man and he worked and worked and worked and her mum was essentially a single mum her whole childhood. And she lived within an area in Switzerland where people did that. The dads weren't around. The mums were at home with the children and they all had a lot of money and they never went without and they're all very well to do and went to very nice schools and all the things. But she absolutely has a broken relationship with her father and has no real emotional connection. And it's almost like she's like, yeah, so I guess like he thinks he succeeded because he was able to provide everything and anything that they needed. But so for him, he has, and his children are doing very well and all have, steady jobs and whatever. But none of them are going to make the riches that he's made because all of them can see what happened was our mum had to struggle whilst she had all the riches.
Because in the end of the day, that desire for connection is going to overrule any bank balance.
Well, that's the studies that they did on the monkeys that they had to stop doing because it was unethical, where the monkey had a choice of food or comfort. So there was two. Do you know
Yeah,
the cycle?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's like there was a monkey that there was a two monkeys. I mean, two fake mothers. One that was wrapped in fur, and it was around a cage essentially, and then the other cage or kind of like I don't know, like a shape, like an egg kind of shape that would be size enough for a monkey to connect to, and one was just wire. And so the monkey that there was the wire one had an actual bottle coming out of it like a nipple. And then the other one had just fur. And the baby monkeys every single time would choose the comfort over the food. So if we kind of see that the food in a sense is the money, and then you've got your comfort and connection to like the beating heart, that's always going to trump. Which is why when you live in the tribe, the focus is on the connection of the whole tribe rather than on what individual success someone can gain, unless it is to better the tribe.
What about someone seeking, let's say, first success in a relationship, be it personal, professional, whatever?
What about what? How would they reach success or happiness or?
Well, it would come to what they determine success to be. So in a personal relationship, you would chase someone so they're yours, right? So that you become together. In work, it might be chasing a promotion of some kind.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they would generally go hand in hand with happiness, right? That sort of.
Well, I think initially they would.
Yeah.
But then you might chase the person, get the person, realize that they're not your person. You might get the promotion and realize that yes, you might have a double your salary or whatever, but then you've got to work every weekend, or you got to work after hours or whatever, or you might work less hours, but then there's way more pressure, and that might not suit your biology very well.
It's like the catch-22, right? Well, I think that is very. I think that's where really following the nudge is the most important thing you can do, because the more you follow what's inside of you that's guiding you rather than external forces, you'll actually be guided in a way that really serves you. And whether there's like, I love this, I think I spoke about it a few weeks ago, but that nor good nor bad, just maybe, that the idea that there's things happening all the time. And, I could see so many things recent in the past 6 months as bad, but it's not good nor bad. It's just like it is.
Yeah, I don't think anything's purely good. I don't think anything's purely bad or evil. Because really the person perceiving it knows they exist for sure. That's it. Literally anything beyond that point is open to interpretation.
Would you say that with a mother and child? Or would you say that the baby is part of the mother? Or is it an interpretation of the mother?
Well, the baby doesn't realize that it's separate from mum as an infant. When you say infant, what age is that up until? Is that 2?
I'd say infant is till 1.
1.
Then like baby is till 2, and then toddler is till 3.
Okay, so that's an interesting paradigm, because scientifically and psychologically, up until circa 2-3 years of age, until the baby starts speaking and saying no, that's when the ego becomes online. When the ego is not online, the baby or child, infant's perception is that they are one with mum. Now, from the mum's perspective, there's 2 different entities there. So who's right?
Yeah, right. So it's perception other than unto yourself.
Because you're the one perceiving it. So it's always open to interpretation. Now, on the open to interpretation thing, let's say you have an idea of what success looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know that's what you want within you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say to someone, or you, we can do that either or, how do you know what you know?
It feels right.
How else could you know what you know?
Taste it, smell it, use my senses to excavate it.
I'm just picturing you on an excavator. I can't.
Why?
Just really can't. It's, yeah. Anyway,
I'd be great on an excavator.
it'd be funny. It'd be something I'd watch for sure. Anyway, we can only know what we know from people who tell us,
Mm-hmm.
an all authority figure. We can, as you said, feel it, or we can experience it. And that's how we know what we know. Otherwise, people chasing the relationship, chasing the job, chasing whatever else I said before,
Money, success.
is that them getting the innate calling for it? Or is that them searching for something missing within themselves, which would be, you could say, the shadow innate calling? Or are they chasing the person, place, thing because that's what they're told they're supposed to do? And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
That's how the
I want,
psychology of it's set up.
yeah. And I just want to say that I feel like we've both spent a lot of time trying to update ourselves, right? And we've spent a lot of time in essentially contemplation, or essentially like following the nudge and connecting to what we feel is the right way to some extent, you know. Okay, maybe our ideas and depictions of success are slightly different to those that work and act differently. However, I've kind of come to a realization that no matter what way you go about it, and no matter what thing you do and choose to do, it is what it is. And I was going to tie in what you just said before about there's no pure, nothing is pure evil and nothing is pure angelic or peace or whatever we want to put on the other side. So no matter what you are doing, there is a bit of peace and beauty in it. Even if you're a megalomaniac doing crazy things for, like, not for the good of the people, like maybe your name's Bill Gates and that is your, you know, it isn't pure evil.
Yeah. So funny you mentioned Bill Gates, because I was asked this question the other day, if he's pure evil. And as you said, there's no pure evil. For me, in my perception, he's a bit confused, because if we had him in front of us right now, he could, hand on heart, justify everything that he's doing. And I mean, even the terrorists think they're doing God's work. Every villain thinks they're a hero in their own mind. So is that good? Is that evil? It's all perception.
Yeah, well, isn't it? And it's the same as that. Like find it crazy that we still go to war and we're still hurting people. But when you think about
someone
it,
needs oil and money and power, so
So that's the aspect. But there's also the people that are there that are fighting back, that don't know necessarily that they don't see themselves as the bad guys because they're just maintaining their territory.
Well, no, I've seen pictures, I've seen videos of Russian and Ukrainian soldiers with it obviously subtitled, and they called a ceasefire for like the day or an hour or whatever it was. And in that time, they were playing cards, swapping cigarettes, chatting, and then some bell rang, and then they quickly went off to each side and started shooting each other again. So that's just young men killing each other on behalf of older men who are
Someone
never going to
else's
meet.
success. Older men that they're never going to meet. Someone else's success. Yeah, so I just think of all these like young lives wasted because of a boardroom of men who, like you said, they're never going to meet them. And it's for their success. It's not for anyone. It's not for the country's gains necessarily. I mean, it depends how you look at it. Bigger picture stuff, I don't know whether it actually makes sense, but I've always been pretty against fighting and killing. And I mean, as a mother, right, we're pretty against fighting and killing, full stop. But then a father is about, affirming the dominance as men, from what I'm learning, the male thing is to affirm dominance. And then once dominance is created or found, there's an acceptance of the pack order. Once the fight is fought, generally, then the men can be friends again and kind of find where they meet.
And a lot of men will just join the army as a job, nothing more. But then they get called, if there's a war, they get called to it, and then shit gets weird from there. So happiness, Nuala, happiness is wanting what you get. So everything that you've got.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty potent thing to, I guess this is where reflection comes in, right? Because if you can't spend time in reflection or if you're so busy doing all the time and you have no space to actually reflect upon anything, you don't actually realize what you've got.
No.
And therefore you don't realize the happiness you can have right now.
Well, I think the secret to having it all is knowing that you already do. But a lot of us come from a place of not knowing who we really are, therefore what we really want. So that creates a big hole and a vacuum, and that vacuum is filled with everyone else's ideas.
And it's ready to suck you up.
Nice.
Thanks. But it's and I think because of, and this is what we know to be true, that because marketing these days have all the knowledge and analysis of the psychology of the brain and the function of biology, right? They know all these things. So they know that naturally a woman moves from scarcity because there's never enough for her. And a man naturally will do all he can to provide for his partner. So you pull on the heartstrings of a mother, or you pull on the ego strings in order to connect. You need this. So of course I'm going to do everything I can to maintain connection. So therefore I do and buy and need all those things. And then I have this partner who needs to provide that for me so I can continue to maintain connection with the people that are around me, or the people that I choose are part of my clan.
And for something to be registered, I think it's subconsciously. You need to see it, depending on the person, between 11 and 20 or 21 times in the space of a day for it to register subconsciously. So you automatically assume happiness or success with that thing. Hashtag spells.
Spells. Well, yeah. So how are we going to maintain so I guess my input there is to make sure that you spend time in reflection. And I actually downloaded this app a little while ago. Let me
Is it a happiness app?
No, I had the happiness app, but what it is, it's called Triple Flame.
Triple
It's the
plane.
Triple Flame. Triple Flame. And it's the app that was created by, I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name, but he's the guy who created Gene Keys. And he has this app. And what it does is it sends you a reminder. For me, I've got it reminding me 3 times a day. And it just sends me a notification and it says usually things along the lines of contemplation is the key to success, or reflection is what actually shows you the way. And it just, in that moment, I try and take you. You've got, it's called a pause, cosmic pause, and you can go into, and they've got like these pause things you can do, and it's like a 5 minute pause, and or sorry, no, it's like a 15-minute pause. But in that moment, it's got like, so they're like little meditations that you can listen to that help you in that moment to just come back to that moment and be here now and use that. And you can, you can create the app, get more prompts. But I personally don't do the things because when the thing plings, I'm like, okay, yes. And I take a deep breath and then I
Through
breathe
the
out
neck.
and I'm
Well
like,
done.
yeah. Got to take a real deep one. And then I try and breathe out and I just say what I'm grateful for in that moment. And so usually it's like, I'm grateful for healthy children. I'm grateful that there's always food on the table. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. Or, maybe it's something particular. I'm really grateful that we got to spend that beautiful time together. I'm grateful that I had a really nice day today. But that's probably as far as I go. But I find that in and of itself gives me a bit of a moment. And I was just sharing with Matt before we started today that I feel like I've naturally done the thing that every person does, and I've been striving for something that's greater, bigger, badder, cooler, more magical, mystical, and powerful than the realms that I'm living within right now. And I had a moment today where I was like, maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to focus right here. And I don't know, see how that plays out. What do you think, Matt? What are your recommendations for someone that might be?
Before I would share my recommendations, I was having this chat with a client last week. He wouldn't say he's depressed, but he's just down. And he's semi-retired, weight of the world on his shoulders. He stresses about not stressing about anything. And I saw him last week for the first time in a month. And not that I'm suggesting this, I'm just throwing it out there. He said he downloaded a fart app. You press a button and it shows different fart
Sounds.
noises. And I've never seen him happier. Just putting that out there. That's more of a guy thing, I would think.
Yeah, I would think it's a guy thing.
Yeah. Most guys think fart noises are funny. So outside that, I would say obviously besides the fart app,
Far out.
if you, I guess, determine success by chasing that person, place, thing, then sit and ask the question, how do I know I want this? Where's this desire coming from? And then what happens when I get it? Is it going to be a 5-minute thing? Is it going to be a sustainable thing? Is this what I want forever? Is it what I want right now? Is it what I want for a year, 10 minutes, whatever that time frame looks like? And then with happiness, that's subjective. That's got to be yours. It's got to be something that you own, something for you. And I mean, I find happiness just in the little things. And it's going to sound really Hallmark cardy, but like a cool breeze on a hot day makes me happy. A bit of warmth on a cool day makes me happy. Knowing that I've got food in the fridge makes me happy. Knowing that I've created work-life balance that I want. Makes me happy. Fart noises make me happy. That's the little
So
things.
essentially, identify the little things that make you happy
You're gonna say
and
the fire.
no, I wasn't. Identify what makes you happy and then remind yourself in the moment that those things are occurring, that this is actually it. This is the thing. This is the success that I've been looking for. Because if we reverse engineer it, right, the happier we are, the more successful we're going to be, right?
Yeah. But most people
So-
think you can't be happy without success, which is a bit backwards.
So hang on, we need happiness. The goal of success could be seen as happiness.
Good.
And happiness, the more happy you are, the more successful you'll be. Likely.
I can see where you're going, yeah.
I don't know where I'm going now. I'm stuck. Quick, I'm stuck in mud. Crawl
So-
underneath my legs.
Well then, so most people associate happiness with success. Once I get the thing, the person, whatever, then I'll be happy. But it doesn't work that way, because once, first of all, if you say I want to ... I'll be happy when ... it's always over there. So therefore your desire is coming from a place of lack, like I don't have it. So it's always going to be over there. So think of like law of attraction. Now you might think, oh, if I just get that person, that thing, whatever, that's going to solve all my problems. And then when you get that, a whole world of different problems have come up that you didn't even think about that were possible before. And but if you're, before you go for the sentence of I want this, I want to ... like, oh, I have this. And sure, that'll be a bonus. But right now I'm living.
What's that thing? Be, have, get? Not get, have, be? Or, do you know, like be the person you want to be so that you have the things that you want to get?
Yeah.
Not be, have, get. But either way, a lot of people do it the other way where they're be's at the end. So you have.
Is that the same as like if I want to lose 20 kilos, so I have to think like the person I am being 20 kilos lighter? How does that person think?
Mm-hmm.
If I want to be the perfect partner, I have to become the perfect partner to attract that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's be, have, got. Or you have got be. Is that it? All I know is that usually we think that once we've worked hard, we've got the things, we then get to be the person we want to be. But we've got to be the person first, think the way that that person would think, and then we will come to have all the things in the ways that they would.
Because even in the process,
Because you're being that.
even in the process, you're becoming. So you're being it. You're embodying it already. Therefore, you already have it. How can you not? We just put our power into the person, place, thing. I think once we have that, I'll be happy. Everything will be fine again. It's kind of backwards.
I guess that's like when people try and have a baby to like fix their marriage.
Yeah. That's
It's never going to work.
not recommended.
So that's the not thing. So the thing to do is reflect and remember all the little things that make you happy and spend some time with those. And
Fart
I'm
noises.
sure fart noises also could come in there if you are a 40-year-old teenager. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed our episode
70.
Oi.
Boom.
Big 7-0. We'll have a party one time, maybe at 100.
Lots of fart noises.
Have a great week, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Wizard and the Priestess. Thanks for stopping by. Stay connected and be open.